Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Happy Sunday morning. Today is Sunday, let me see, January 26th, 2025. Oh my God. I know I say it every week, but like, does it seem like this month has flown by? We're at the end of the month already. Crazy. It's crazy. So how are you all? My name is Tina Bickford. I am an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! Here in the US. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're going to create a card that was actually requested. So good morning, good morning. This is going to be a fun card, and it's super, super easy. It's a lot easier to make than it looks. So this card, today's card is called, I think the official name for it is the Twist and Pop, the Twist and Pop explosion card. Good morning, Mom. Morning, Dad. So this card is super, like this is a wow. You give this card to somebody and they're gonna wow, like how the heck did you do that? It's crazy, like fun and interactive. It is not a paper saver. This card uses a lot of paper, so you just want to be prepared for that. But yeah, super fun. So let me know if you're here watching live. Leave me a comment. Let me know that you're here. I love watching all of the comments coming in. If you come back and watch the replay, leave me a comment and let me know that you're watching the replay. I'd love to know that, you know, people are coming back and watching this video. So yeah, tell me what it's like. Like, where are you watching from? Let me know where you're watching from. And I'm gonna switch down to the desk camera, and you know me and this technology. Okay, so can I just tell you, me and technology, right? I keep all my stuff on an external hard drive, because why wouldn't you? That's just what you were supposed to do. You know, you're supposed to save all of your stuff to an external hard drive in case something happens to your laptop. Yeah, so I did that. And something happened to my external hard drive. So, good morning, Lisa. How is it down in NC? How's the weather down there? You guys finally warming up? Ugh. So yeah, I had to send my hard drive out for disk recovery, so data recovery. So we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get all of my data back. And if not, then, you know, I'll have to try to figure that out. But yeah, so that's how my week's been going. All right, let's switch down to the desk camera and just give me a minute to make sure I have this all, you know, figured out. Okay. I have to remember to mute them, my laptop, the sound on my laptop. Otherwise I get this echo and it drives me crazy, and I'm sure you guys can hear it. So, all right. So today we're going to be doing the Twist and Pop card, and let me just show you what that looks like. So this is the card that we're going to be making. This is a card. It's got a belly band. It's super fun. There are a lot of pieces of cardstock that go into this. So this is one. This is an embossing folder. This is not a Stampin' Up! Embossing folder. Stampin' Up! Used to sell one that looked like this tufted quilt look. I don't have it, but I do have one from I think it's a Spellbinders. So I used it because that is just the look that I wanted for this card. You can do, you know, you can use whatever you want for your panel. So this is the card we're going to be making. And the belly band just slips off just like this. And then the card opens. And when the card opens, it does this. Yay. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Super fun. Okay. So that's the card we're making today. Let's see. All right. Oh, so that's not going to be too bad. 50. It's still pretty cold down there for you guys. It is a balmy 23 degrees here in the Northeast. Okay, so this is our card. Let's go through this. And I'll try to go, I did cut all of the pieces ahead of time just because, like I said, this is kind of a monster of a card as far as using pieces. So let's just grab all of those pieces and I will go through them. We'll start with the card base. So our card base is 4 1/4 by 11. And we are going to, we'll go through that as we go. So I'll just, instead of going through all of the dimensions, we'll just go through it as we go. So this card base is 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to go ahead and score that halfway at 5 1/2. So no different than we've done other card bases. Pretty simple so far. So we're just going to do that, score that, have that nice score line there. And always you want to take, when you're scoring your paper, did I score that right? I did. You always want to fold against that. So when you're scoring and you're pressing down into the fibers of the cardstock, that's where you want to fold. You want to fold away from that valley score. Okay. We're going to give that a really good crease with our bone folder so that stays nice and flat. Good morning, Aunt Judy. How are you? Good morning. So this is going to be a really thick card. So there's a lot going on with the mechanism that makes it that open and close. So this is going to be a thick card. So you want to try to keep as many, like I'm not going to be using a lot of like the Stampin' Dimensionals. It's going to be a lot of the glue or my Stampin' Seal, because you want to try to keep your elements as flat as possible because that mechanism is so thick. Now that's just if you're going to mail it. If you're going to hand deliver this card, you put as many Stampin' Dimensionals as you want to make this your card. All right, so I am using, my card base is Pretty in Pink, and I have glue on my, sorry about that. So I'm using Pretty in Pink and Basic White, and I'm going to be using elements from that beautiful Wildflower birthday paper that's got all of the gorgeous gold in it. And I'm using Basic White. So I'm just going to bring in my card front. So I want to make sure I'm opening my card the right way. I have my card front, and I'm just going to bring in my layering panel for the card front. This measures, and I can do it with because you can't quite see. I wonder if I can get that just a little bit. You can't quite see the bottom there. Let me see if I can get rid of that where it says desk cam. Hold, please. Y'all, I don't know if I can get rid of that. So, I don't know. I like the grid paper because it's got, I'm going to try to just adjust it a little bit there. All right. So it's got these, it's ruler. So this is the grid paper it's a ruler. It helps me measure things and double check my measurements when I'm using a cut piece. So this cut piece right here, this panel, if I just put it down here in this corner, you can't see my finger, this down here in this corner, I can see that it measures 4 inches across and 5 1/4 inches tall. So that's your piece here, 4 by 5 1/4. And we're just going to put that right on. I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue, my Tombow glue. And we're just going to glue that together. Now this is a 3D dimensional, a 3D embossing folder. So it's pretty, thick and detailed. So I'm being very liberal with my Tombow glue so that it will hold that in place. So I'm just going to move this around, get that nice even border all the way around. It's a little uneven on the bottom there, and give it just a little bit of a press. Nice and even. Let that glue just kind of stick. So we'll get that. Okay. And we're going to open up our card now, and we're going to put some layering panels on the inside. So the panels that I have for the inside are the same size as the one that we did for the front. So these are both 4 by 5 1/4. I have one piece that is just basic white cardstock that's going to be down here on the bottom part. And then this piece of designer series paper from that Wildflower Birthdays, I'm going to put up at the top. Now you could use either side. This is a beautiful side right here. Actually, I think I will, because I did on my sample card, I used the other one. So we'll put this one up here just to give this card a little bit of a different look. So this is the way the inside of the card will be with our cardstock. I do want to stamp on this first, because if I mess up that stamp, if I get, you know, a little bit of smudging or whatever, I can flip it over before I glue it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I am grabbing my Pool Party ink, and I'm getting this birthday celebration stamp set, and I'm just going to use this Make-A-Wish one. That's all. I like that for the inside of this card. So I'm just going to open my Pool Party. We're having a pool party. I wish, not in 23 degrees. All right. And then I'm just going to come in here, and I am, because the piece that's going to be on the mechanism, that pop out piece is pretty wide. When this is on here, I want to make sure that I'm positioning my sentiment low enough on this cardstock that it can be seen. So I'm just going to kind of stay, normally I would be like towards the top of the middle. I'm going to stay towards the middle bottom. I'm just going to come in here. Now, I'm not happy with the way this came out. I don't know if you can see it. It's like, yeah, it doesn't look really clear. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to go ahead and re-ink my stamp. And I'm going to come in and do that again. Middle, bottom, a little bit better. And just set this aside and that aside. Okay, so now we're going to come in with our liquid glue again, and we're going to put this designer series paper and inside panel in our card. And this is where you want to be really careful that you know which way is the front and which way is the back of your card, so that you're not putting the inside sentiment panel on the inside of the front of the card. So that will go there. Isn't that paper beautiful? That beautiful pink. Oh, I just love it. Love it. Reminds me of little baby girls. Little baby girls. And we're going to put that one on there. Nice even border all the way around. Like so. Let that glue just adhere, and we're just going to set this aside for right now. All right. So now we're going to come in with our inside, what I'm calling the pop-out piece. So I'm just going to set that card base aside for right now so we can work on this. So the pop-out piece is 3 inches by 9 inches. And so you can see that. If I hold that down here, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's 9 inches here, 3 inches here. So 3 by 9. We're going to score this in 4 sections. So I'm just going to grab my paper trimmer. My light gray blade is my scoring blade. You can pull the arm out if you want. It goes all the way up to 17 inches, so it's great for, you know, scrapbooking paper and all that. So I'm going to score this. There will be 3 score marks in here. This is going to fold Valley Mountain Valley. So like I just said, with the card base, you always want to fold like away from that indented score mark. Because this is going back and forth, we're going to score this piece that way. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to do it. It's math. It's a math problem. That's all this is. So it's 9 inches long. So I want to score it in half, which is 4.5. So I'm just going to come in at 4.5 and give that a score. Now I'm going to flip this over because I want those other score marks to be indented on this side. and I'm just going to score halfway between the edge and my 4.5. So half of 4.5 is 2.25. My math teacher would be so happy with me right now. Okay. So I'm just going to put the arm in because I don't need it. I'm going to just line up my paper with that 2.25. Now, if you feel more comfortable with doing 2.25, 4.5, and then 6.5, which is what that next one, 6.75, sorry, is what that next one's going to be. You can open up the arm and line this up and do the 6.75. I find it easy just to rotate that around and mark it at the 2.25 again. Okay, so now you can see I have this one is, this score mark goes in, it's indented, this one is raised, and this one is indented. So we're going to fold that way. Just get this out of the way. All right. So this one is the raised. I'm going to fold against that. So I'm just going to turn that so that I can fold it this way. And then these ones are going to fold up. So you have valley, mountain, valley. And we are just going to give all of these a really good crease. Really good. This is going to be the part that moves in your card. So you really want to make sure that you give that a good crease. Like so. All right. Because this part is the moving part, we're going to decorate this. We're going to do all of our decorating to this first, because it's going to be really hard to do it when this is in the card. So we're going to grab a couple of elements. So I have 4 pieces of this Pretty in Pink. Okay. Each one of those is going to go in one section here. So I'm just making each one of these that 1/4 inch smaller than all of the section here, so that I've got a nice 1/8 inch around on each side, on each segment. So each of these, so this is 3 inches wide. We already said it's 3 inches wide, and this is 2.25. So your pieces are going to be 2 inches across here, and then 2 3/4 inches here. So you need 4 pieces that are 2 by 2 3/4, and those are going to fit nicely in each section with a nice border around all of them. Good morning, Lou Ann. Stay as long as you can. All right. So I want to make these, I don't want to just stick them on. I want to make these fancy because we like fancy. So I'm just going to set this aside for right now. I'm going to move these real quick, and I'm going to bring in my stamp cut and emboss machine, and we're going to emboss these pieces. And so I'm going to emboss it using this Soft Waves 3D embossing folder. Sorry, that's not even in the camera there. Boop, like that. So this one actually comes with the sweet, I forget what it's called, Ocean Friends or something like that. It's the one with the lobster and the crab. I don't have it because I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the lobster and the crab. So, and I'm sure once I see a demonstrator make a card that I just can't live without using that stamp set, I will be buying that stamp set because it's just how I roll. So this has those beautiful waves in there, and this is a 3D. So this is going to give you a nice deep embossing. Now these are going to go across my card in this way. They're a little bit taller than they are wide, and I want my waves to look continuous across this way. So I'm being very particular about how these go into the embossing folder because I know how I want the waves to go. So I'm just going to load these in this way, and it's not going to be all continuous because, you know, these things are wider than all 4 of them together are wider than what this embossing folder is, but I can make them go this way so that my, oops, And that one slipped, I'll fix that. So that when these are on that panel, you can see it'll just look like nice flowy waves. I'm just going to put that right back in there, close that down. I'm putting the fold of my embossing folder in first. That because this machine is actually using pressure to create the embossed cardstock. It's with that pressure, having the open end on this side here allows for the embossing folder to flex and move, and it has room. You could break your embossing folder if you put it in the open side first. Now, I have seen a lot of demonstrators have very good luck with putting it in so that the fold is on the side, which is also possible, because, and the reason that works okay is that you do have an open end over here that allows for that embossing folder to flex. So we'll just we're using a 3D embossing folder, so we just want plate 1 and plate 4. I'm just going to roll that through like so. Get that out of the way. And then we get these. This is now again, I may not be a fan of the lobster and the crab, but this embossing folder, you guys, is gorgeous. Love it. All right, let's bring this little piece back, our little piece, and we're going to put these things on our inside part. How's everybody doing? All right. And I'm just being careful when I put these on, the direction that I'm putting them. I want to make sure that because I was intentional about how I put them into the folder, I do want to make sure that I'm also creating that continuous wave. So, you know, when you put them here, this doesn't really match, but this does. So we're actually, yep. All right, so we'll put this one on like so. All right. Flipping this one over and putting my green glue on. I've got a couple of alternatives to show you guys that I made in addition to the one I showed at the beginning of the video. I didn't make a lot of these because, like I said, I mean, they're uses a lot of paper and, well, I mean, they're not hard to make. They're pretty easy to make, but you know, you got to figure all of it out and do all that. So put all of that in there and we'll just let this set. And then I have, and this is just, and I have glue all over my fingers now. So, when you get glue all over your fingers, you can do one of two things. You can use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol, or a little bit of hand sanitizer. So I'm just using some really cheap hand sanitizer, and I'm just going to rub it all in. My hands are going to be really sanitized, but it takes that glue right off. So you can just do that. And I'm just going to wipe them on a paper towel real quick, because I don't want to get any of that glue or ink or anything that's on my fingers. I don't want to get that on my project. So you just want to make sure that you keep your hands, you know, free of glue and sticky. All right. So you can decorate this is the time that you want to do it, but you can decorate the inside, this inside panel any way you choose. You just want to do it now before we get in the card. So I decided to just go with a really simple design in here. I am using, all I did was just cut out, and I just did this with my paper trimmer. I just cut out some of the cakes that are in that paper. There was one of the sheet of paper here. And all I did was I just cut a row straight down and just cut each of the cakes out individually. I just wanted something quick and simple. So I did that, but then I thought they looked a little bit lost on there, just like that. So what I did was I cut a half inch strip, and then I cut them 2 inches long so that the 2 inches matches the width of each of these pink. And I'm just going to come in here and put these on like this so that they go across. Now you could like, you could put them, you know, kind of alternate them up and down like this if you want. And then put your cakes on. I just liked it to be right in the center, so that's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to flip these over to the back sides. And I'm going to put my glue on. Now, since I have my glue up and running with this, I'm just going to go ahead and glue all 4 of these. The glue won't dry that fast by the time I get these on. Nope. Yeah, I still have a little bit of glue. I just got a little bit more glue on my fingers, but that's all right. And then again, we're going to try to keep all of our elements as flat as possible because we do have a lot of thickness going on with this card. So I'm just going to line those up, put them in the center. Like so. Like that. Now, again, if you wanted to, this would be a good opportunity to pop each of these up on dimensionals. I'm not going to do that. I am going to be, because I have 2 cakes that are the same, so I am going to be specific about how I put those on here so that I'm not doing the 2 alike ones together. So I'm just centering these on each of those panels, getting them straight, or I hope getting them straight. Like so. And you'll notice I'm not putting glue everywhere. I'm gonna want, like, I like the look of it, like almost like it's attached only to the white strip. So I wasn't really concerned about putting glue all the way down there. So I'm just kind of focusing in the middle and just gluing it like that. And I have all of my cakes upside right. Yes, I do. Yay. Okay. All right. So if you want, like, you could put gems or something. If you wanted to put gems, you could put gems on. You can do that later though. That's easy enough. Sorry, I'm just using my glue eraser to get some of this glue off my desk. I don't need my sticky fingers. Okay, so we're almost done. Now we're going to get to the fun part. So let's get to the fun part. I'm going to take this piece and my card base and just set them to the side, and we're going to work on this mechanism. This is the mechanism. So this is just a piece of cardstock that is 2 inches. I'm just going to come in here. Is this way better? Yeah. So I'll just come in here. It's 2 inches here by 8 inches. Okay. Now we have to do some scoring on this one also. This one we're going to score in half, long ways and short ways. Okay. So this is 2 inches wide here. So we're going to score it at 1 inch. Now this paper trimmer is really nice because it does have the 1 inch mark here on both sides. So I can actually just center that between those 2 1 inches to verify that I have it. I'm just making sure I got it lined up all the way down here, hold it in place and score. Now I'm going to rotate it. It's 8 inches across. So I'm going to score it at 4 inches. All right. So this is simple scoring. We have another series of scores that we have to make on this. So what I'm going to do with this, because I said we have to fold against this score mark, I'm going to flip this over. so that so I can feel that raised edge of all of my score marks. And then I'm going to come in here. You have to, so you'll need to make a mark, or however you feel comfortable doing this. From this center line, the center score, you're going to mark an inch over on each side, both on the top and on the bottom. And then we are going to score from top to bottom, and then from top to bottom, so that we create an X. I have found, I've made enough of these right now that I have found I can just come in here with my paper trimmer and with my scoring blade, make a tiny tick mark on here that I can see. I'm going to do it with a pencil so that you can actually see this on camera, because you're not going to be able to see the tick mark at all on camera when I do it. So I'm just going to come in here with I'll set that aside so I can, because that reflection is annoying. So I'm just going to come in here. You can do however it works for you, however your math works for you or your brain works. I put that 1 inch right on that score mark. I don't know if you can see that. So I put that 1 inch right on that score mark like that. And I'm going to make a little tick mark at the end here, and then at 2 inches. So it's an inch on either side. And I'm just going to rotate it and do the same thing on this side. Okay. Now let me just explain one thing about this mechanism. This mechanism, depending on the size of your card, does not have to be 2 inches by 8 inches. It can be whatever size you want. If you're making a smaller card, it can be smaller. You would obviously scale down your pop-out piece, and or if you were making it larger, you could use a larger mechanism, and you could use you do a larger pop-out piece. However it is that you choose to do it, whatever size you choose to do it, you are always going to score half and half. And then whatever this half is here, this one, whatever for this width here, whatever this dimension is, if it's 1.5, like if you were to do a 3 inch and you scored this at 1.5, when you measure your tick marks, your measurement is going to be whatever this is. So if you've got 3 inches here and you scored it in the middle at 1.5, then your middle score here, you're going to mark 1.5 out on each side, 1.5. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do, I'm just going to draw a line on here so you can actually see it. We're going to score from that tick mark. Now I wouldn't do this on my card. If I were doing this, I would do this all with score marks so that you couldn't see it. You're not going to really see it on the mechanism anyway, but this is the way that we're going to score this. Okay. So I'm just going to take my paper trimmer, this out of the way, and I'm going to line, since I drew the lines, I'm going to line that line up right with that channel the whole way, like so, and score, and just rotate it and do the same thing. Okay. Just like that. All right. Set that aside. All right. So now we're going to fold like I've already taught you. Good morning, Dee. Welcome. Where are you watching from? Okay. So we're going to fold this the way that I've been talking about. So this long fold, this long score mark here, I'm looking at the indented section, and I know you can see this pretty good right now. So this is the indented part of my score, and this is the raised. So the X is raised. So we're going to go ahead and fold against that, like that. Okay. And I do want to burnish this really well. So I'm going to just do that. Burnish, burnish, burnish. And then I'm going to open. Now, because I'm holding it this way, where that raised image is, if I were to do this, and so that I've got my depressed image, I'm going to fold like this on both of these. Okay. Fold that way, and then fold this way. Easy peasy, easy peasy. So now you have this part. So Colorado, oh, what is the weather like out there? It is, oh, it has warmed up 4 degrees here. It is 27 degrees in the Northeast. Woohoo! It's like a heat wave. So now we have this mechanism that looks like this, okay? So you've got this little folded edge here. It looks like a little valley, a little trough coming down here. So when we're going to fold this flat, how we're going to do this is you just take each of these edges and you're going to fold these in. And when you do, it's just going to naturally want to curl in like this. Okay. So far, so good. Let me just do that again. So we folded it this way along the lengthwise, and then flipped it over and folded this way and then this way. And then when we're holding it like this, so that we have the little trough, like so, we're just going to fold those in. If you pinch these two edges, your cardstock is just naturally going to want to come into this position, okay? Like so. So we're going to take this flat, and it's okay if the edges down here don't match exactly. You can see that. They don't match exactly, and that's okay. So you're just going to take that. What's important is to make sure that these aren't overlapping here, that you have a nice flat center, but they are right close together. And then you're just going to come in here and give your little triangle area a good squish. I like to just flip it over and do that side too. Okay. So that's your mechanism. That is what's going to make this card so freaking wow. Okay. So now we're going to bring our card base back in. For the card, the way that we're going to put this mechanism into the card base, I'm just going to grab a ruler. I like to do this because this needs to be centered in here. I like to know that it is centered. So I'm just going to take my ruler, the inch side. My ruler is so dirty. Can you see that? Oh my goodness, it's so dirty. But at least I can see the numbers. I have another metal ruler. Let me just say, you can tell my metal ruler. This one is so used. Look at it. You can't even see the lines anymore. Yeah. So, oh, and then everything's going flying. Okay. So I'm just going to take my ruler, and I'm going to take, it's upside down so that I can see the up to a 4 1/4. And I'm going to lay this ruler on my card right there so that I can see the measurement is 4 1/4. Half of 4 1/4 is 2 1/8. So I'm just going to make sure I know where that 2 1/8 is. All right. We are going to grab our green glue, our multi-purpose glue, and we're going to put glue just on the triangle. Just on the triangle. You do want to make sure you have a good coverage. You don't want a lot of glue. You don't want it, smushing out all over your project. So you just want to make sure that you have good coverage. So I put a little bit on, and then I just use the tip to just kind of spread it around. So you can see there's not a lot on there, but it's there. It's good and covered. I'm going to flip that over because we're going to glue to the back side first. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to look for that 2 1/8 mark, and then I'm going to get ready to line this up. Couple of things. You want to make sure it's straight up and down this way. So you don't want it to be, offset. You want to pay attention to that. And you want the point of your triangle to be at 2 1/8, but you have to account for your score mark. So you do not want the point of your triangle to be right up against your score line. You want it to be down just a smidge. You don't want to it's going to be somewhere, let me just show you. It will be somewhere between the edge of the white cardstock here and that score mark. Okay. That's the way that we're going to position that. So put my ruler back so I know where center is. And you can eyeball it if you want. That's just not me. Glue side down, and I'm going to come into that where the 2 1/8 is, and I'm going to put that point right around the 2 1/8, making sure that I'm straight here. And I'm just going to press and hold, and I'm just going to bring this up so that you can see I'm not right at that score mark. There's going to be wiggle room so that I can close this and not have that jammed right up in there. Okay. Now I'm going to take, while this is, while the glue is setting, and it's probably already set because it dries pretty quickly, I'm just going to hold this down, and I'm going to do the same thing to this triangle here. I'm just going to come in and put the glue. Now you want to be careful because this is already on your card. So you don't want to get a lot of glue on there. So I'm just being very, very gentle with the glue, squeezing it out and just moving it around all over there like so. And I'll just bring that up to the camera so you can see that also. And I made sure I didn't go right to the very edge, because it does, you know, if it does squirt, you know, come out a little bit on the edge, you don't want it all over your card. So I'm just going to hold this down, and all I'm going to do is close my card. So I'm just going to close it, and I'm going to hold it and just let that glue do what glue does. Almost done. Almost done. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're great on time. This is good. This is good. All right. So now when we open our card, you're going to get that little part that does that. Okay. All right. Now we're going to bring this back. This is important. We need to make sure that this is centered. This is a little bit harder to center. I mean, to lay, because you're not going to be able to lay it flat, because this is now glued to both sides of the, you know, the inside top and inside bottom. So you're not going to be able to just fold it flat. So you just want to be careful. We're going to take this, our mountain, our valley, mountain, valley, lay it down so that the mountain is in the center. And we're just going to fold these flaps in like this. They should meet in the middle. This middle here, we're going to center that with, so you can see the score line still that's in here in the center, that score line. That's the center of your card, okay? And we know that because we put the ruler there, and we put that point of our triangle right in the center of our card. So we're going to take this, and this is going to be centered on your card this way. And it's also going to be centered on your mechanism from top to bottom. Okay. And you'll see what I mean. So I'm just going to line this up. Another way you can tell that you are centered on your card, because obviously I can't see that score line now, is you can tell up here that you are centered between your card. So I just need to move this up a little here so that I'm centered this way. I'm just going to set that down. And I'm just going to make sure. Now you could use a ruler if you wanted to see if you were, you know, close to being centered here. It's about 1/2 inch there, about 1/2 inch there. So that looks good. So I'm just going to hold this in place, and I'm not pressing down because I don't want to ruin, you know, I don't want to press down and stretch out that or rip the cardstock that's the mechanism. So I'm just going to take my green glue, my multi-purpose glue. In this section over here, this top section that is exposed over here, I'm going to put glue there. And I'm being, you know, liberal. This is, you know, this is the moving part of your card. So I'm doing the same thing I did on that triangle. I'm squeezing it out onto that section and then moving it around. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but I'm going to do the bottom section instead of the top section. Okay, so we're just going to do the bottom section over here. Just moving this around. I'm not, you know, once I've squeezed out the initial amount of glue, I'm now just kind of moving it around on that section. Okay, so now you should have glue on this top section and then this bottom section. So all we're going to do now is open the flap and adhere it to that section that you have glued. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. Now, because you can't really fold the card flat this way because of the way that that mechanism is glued, I just come up here top and bottom and just hold and press a little bit to help that glue just set. And you want to make sure that glue is set really, really good before you start moving this card around. Let me just flip this over so you can see. It doesn't look pretty on the back, but this, you want to make sure that this is glued and that glue is holding steady before you start moving. The green glue, the Tombow glue, it does have a little bit of wiggle room when you first use it. So you need to make sure that it's really holding, okay? Flip that over. Now, when you fold this card, when we close this card, the first time you close it, you're probably going to have to convince this part to twist. Okay, let me just show you that again. So when you close it, all I do is I'm kind of convincing this one to come down and this one to come up. It will happen on its own. So I'm just forcing it to turn a little bit. Let me see if I can show it this way. So just kind of forcing that to turn a little bit. And that piece right there, this piece under here will turn, okay? Like so. I just give this a press, just like this. It just kind of, you know, we've already convinced that piece to turn the way that we want it to. This just makes sure that, you know, that piece knows that we mean business. So there. Now when we open this card, you can open it. And now you can close it. Oops. You can close it. I say that. You can close it. And it will close. So open. And, all right. I don't know why mine's not. All right. Well, there. I need to convince that to close a little bit more. All right. Okay. So now we're going to move on to, this obviously doesn't stay closed because it's got all that stuff going on in there. So we're going to do a belly band. And a belly band is, I just have a 1-inch strip. It's just by 11 inches. You can cut this down if you want. Quite a bit of this is going to overlap each other. So I just hold this basically where I want it, the thickest part of this card, hold it there. And I'm going to, you don't want the belly band too tight. So you want to be really careful you don't want to really wrench it around the card. You just want a nice, gentle, convince it to go around so that it's not, you can see this is not like a really nice score line, you know, crisp score line or anything like that. I just wanted to convince the cardstock to go around the card. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm holding my card. I'm not squeezing it tight. I'm just holding it because it's pretty thick. And I'm just going to convince that cardstock to just gently go around that card. Okay. And it's going to meet on the back. Now, this is where I said you can cut this down so you don't have quite an overlap if you want. We can do that. And this doesn't have to be anything much. Just do that. Just trim a little bit off so that you now have just a little bit of an overlap. And I'm just going to come in with my glue, add a little bit here on that end. And again, it doesn't have to be a lot. And I'm just going to press and hold that. You don't want it squirting out too much because you don't want it to be on the inside of your belly band. It will stick to your card. So you don't really want to do that. Okay. And now this should slide right on there. And I got my belly band a little bit too tight. Oops. Oops, right there. So it should slide on. Yeah, I'll have to make it a little bit bigger. I'll do that. I'll do that after. So it should slide on and off. I'll show you with my other one. Oh, I just got hung up over there. All right. So here, I'm going to put one of the elements from that Wildflower birthday paper. This, if you want to put this on with Stampin' Dimensionals, this is where you would want to use your dimensionals if you're going to. And you can see this card's pretty thick on the inside with all of that mechanism going on. So if you put dimensionals on there also, and especially since that inside, yeah, that belly band's a little bit too tight. All right, I'm going to make another belly band for it. I'll make another belly band for it. But anyway, with this, all of that going on inside, because of the way that this pop out piece folds in there. If you use dimensionals on that pop out piece, you're going to have a stack up of dimensionals here and here and here and here. So you'll have 4 levels, 4 layers of dimensionals just in that one piece, and it's all in the center right there. So that's a little bit too much for too much thickness. So I'm just going to grab my Pretty Paint, because I made that. I told you guys don't put the belly band too tight, and I went and did it. So I'm just going to cut a piece that is 1 inch by 11. Move that to the side. Come in here on the thickest part. I'm on the thickest part. I think that's where I went wrong, is I didn't do it on the thickest part. So on the thickest part, which is down here, and I'm just gonna convince that to go around, not squeezing. And then if you want to just move it over a little bit and give it a little bit of extra wiggle room while you convince this side to go around, you can do that. And now put that glue. Come on, getting low on glue. Like that. Now, when I did, yeah, that one slides much easier. See, it should go on easier, and it should slide easier, and it should slide all the way through. It should slide, because whoever gets this card, you don't know if they're going to slide it up or slide it down. So you do want to make sure it slides all the way through. Now, I put this on the front for my other one, because I was able to hide this behind my element. This one is a little bit off to the side here, which I'm totally fine with. I'm going to offset my cake. Doesn't have to be centered on the card. My cake can be off centered. So I'm just going to take, I need to know where to put my my dimensionals. So I'm just going to tuck my cake behind here just so that I can see the width, so that I don't put them too far out, but I do want to use 3. I'm just going to put them like that, pull that cake out, take those dimensionals off, and pop my cake right on there, like so. Okay. So there's my, now you can put, if you wanted to put like a little sentiment on the front, you could do that too. If you wanted to zhuzh up your belly band, you could do that also, but your belly band just opens, and then the card opens like that. Just like that. Oh yeah, see, that folded much easier. It just took a little extra convincing, that's all. There's that one. So that's our card. Like, that's how easy, that is so easy to make. I mean, there's a lot of paper and there are a lot of steps, but there's nothing really difficult about putting it together. So this is the one that I made earlier and that I showed at the beginning of the video. Belly band comes off, and I just use a different element from that same paper. These are pre-cut for you, so die cuts that you already get in there. And I still have a ton of, I made a bunch of cards in one of my previous videos. I made a bunch of cards using these die cuts, and I still have a bunch left. So you definitely get a lot. So this one, I did the same thing, and I use that other paper here on the inside. So that one, like that. And then I did this one here this is the same thing, using that same paper. This is there's a sheet in there, actually 2 sheets that you get that are just these tags. You can just cut them out. You just cut them out, and you have a tag. You know, you can have a tag you can put a little sentiment on there. It can be your card. You can punch a little hole in it, and it can actually be a gift tag. So this, I just slide that off. This paper is, yeah, I can't tell you where this paper is from. I mean, it's Stampin' paper, but I don't remember the name of the pack of paper, but it's got that really cute linen. It's not, it looks like dimensional. It's not completely flat. It's but it's the way that they've shaded with the white and the dark pool party. It looks dimensional. And then this one just opens like that. This one I went with just DSP on here. instead of cutting the individual cakes out and putting an extra layer of cardstock on there. And I also went with the designer series paper on both top and bottom for this one. But you could still, this designer series paper is still very light, so you could still write on this. You could still write your message, you know, happy birthday, or, you know, to, from, you know, whatever, you can do that. And then this one is, oh, my favorite. Love this one. The very vanilla and the pool party together. And then I brought in the berry burst color. And I did that that fade between the two colors on that tag. Beautiful. So this one, I just put my sentiment on the tag. This is actually like, this is designer series paper from Stampin' Up! From like 20 years ago. Yes, I hoard paper. Like, okay. Hello, my name is Tina and I am a paper hoarder. Okay. So same, I use that same embossing folder. I just really like that tufted look. The tufted look makes me think of, you know, like baby quilts and stuff. So this is like perfect for like a little girl's birthday party or so, you know, something like that. So this one I just did this way. And instead of doing, so this one I actually did use some dimensionals on the inside because I wasn't putting an extra layer of cardstock on here. And this uses very vanilla. So I made my, my mechanism very vanilla so that it would blend in with the card. And I used the same designer series paper on here as I did here. I just did some die cuts, put some die cuts and elements on that. And there's that. So there's our cards. Easy, right? Easy peasy. Easy, easy, easy. I am super excited for you guys to try those cards. Let me just see if I can figure out how to flip this camera back. Let me see. Let me see. Just make sure there's no comments that I need to. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let me just flip back. Okay. Yeah. I figured it out. Okay. So that's called the Twist and Pop Explosion card. I've been making those for a few years now. I don't know who the original designer is for this card. Otherwise, I would give them credit. Like I said, I made a couple. Oh, hold on one second. I made a couple a really long time ago. Like this, I'll just show you the pop out really quick. You know, I just did something like this where I printed on some of it. With my computer, you know, the hard drive that I somehow messed up. So I just put the belly band like that. So it's it just says, "Will you be?" And then I used my computer again to do the inside. And I just did, oops, mine. So will you be mine? Happy Valentine's Day. Bam, just like that. So you can do it with a lot. Like you don't have to do, you know, designer series paper. You can print something off of your computer and put that in there. You know, however, whatever you want. This was just, I did this one. This is just a paper element that I think I got at some, you know, my local craft store. Take the belly band off. So it's just plain heart. And I did an little embossed panel here, just a really simple dotted one. And then this one, oh, same thing. Boop. And this one I did just, you know, this is actually a really old Stampin' Up! Stamp set, the letters love. It was like peace and love, I think. It was called like peace and love or something. I have stamps from 20 years ago. All the wood mounted stamps that I converted. I took them off the wood blocks and I converted them so that I can use them with my acrylic blocks. It was a heck of a project, but I did it so that I could store, because they were just taking up way too much space. So, so I did that. So I still have and use all of my old Stampin' Up! Stamp sets, because they're all like perfect. I love them all. So anyway, Dee, thank you so much for joining us from Colorado. And Lisa from North Carolina, thank you so much. I hope that you do this card. And when you make these cards, please, like, let me know. Let me see them. Let me see them. I want to see your take on these cards. I want to see your designs. I think that's so fun. I just want to see them because I love them. And yeah, so I am going to try to be back Wednesday night with another card. I haven't designed it yet, so I don't really know. But I'll work on that probably later today or tomorrow. So yeah, and if you have any requests, if you have any requests at all for any cards that you would like for me to try to make, you can go over to my Facebook page, The Tatted Stamper, and leave me a message there. You can email me. I don't have my email up right now. I'll put it in the description of this this video. And like all of my videos, after the video is done, I actually put a list of all of the supplies that I've used in the video in the description of the video. Now you do have to click on, there's a little word more in the description. You do have to click on more so that you can see all of that. But I list everything there, and a link if you are interested in shopping and buying any of these. There's a link there for you to shop with me. I would love it if you don't already have a demonstrator and you aren't already a demonstrator. I would love to be your demonstrator. So yeah, reach out to me and let me know if there are any cards that you'd like, any designs that you'd like. You've been seeing pictures of them on Pinterest. We can figure out how to make them and break them down and show you how to make them. So I hope you all have a fabulous weekend, what's left of your weekend. And I will see you Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Bye.